Building a family looks different for everyone. There are several reasons why people cannot biologically produce a child. We know that it is not a given that everyone can. Thanks to assisted reproductive technology, some of us who cannot can realize our families. My biology didn't allow me to carry my embryo. I wanted to talk about my personal experience and normalize us women of color who struggle with this and have found a way. I kept hearing too many people say that intended parents don't talk about this. Well, I do. If you decide to go down this path, you absolutely are brave. It is the road less traveled on. It's the steeper, rockier, certainly more expensive road to climb up, over, under, and see it through for sure. I could have been dragged down into the teetering, depressive state at the time I was going through this, immersed in it. If it was not for the support around me of certain family and friends, for sure my journey would have been even tougher. Survival mode looks different for everyone. I didn't then know about the support network and options that exist for those of us affected by different types of challenges in family building. I'd like to share with my community my process, the facts of what it takes to build a family when your genetics are not cooperating, and hope that it's helpful. You're listening to Mothers in Arms. I am your host, Leslie Lopez. My hope is that my unique path to becoming a parent can help with navigating your own journey. It is April 1st, 2015. This is episode number 10, in conversation with Sydney Holland. I got the chance to sit down with Sydney. She is an independent parent who went through 2 surrogate journeys of her own. She is a fashionista who lives in SoCal with her 3 children and their Bernedoodle. She is a philanthropist and entrepreneur wearing many hats, amongst which she's produced films for Hollywood. She has a wellness and beauty e-commerce website called 13 Loom and has perfected the art of gifting with her company, The Urban and the Mystic. When I first met Sydney, I liked her instantly. Her style, her voice, she was kind, she was spiritual, her skin, flawless. How could you not? I would see Sydney at our fertility specialist's office, where we both were patients of Dr. Kelly Beck at the California Fertility Partners. That waiting room could be a bit intimidating to walk into or out of, not knowing who you'd run into in there. I was feeling at the time a bit inadequate. You might find yourself sitting next to someone who was looking very pregnant, or maybe it was someone waiting to give a sperm sample. You just not knowing if the pregnant female was the intended parent or a surrogate. It was just best to politely smile and mind your own business. But I'd see Sydney, and we would commiserate on the challenges we faced during this period of time. So it was no brainer for me to think of her for an interview and come to her for insights on being a strong and loving, independent parent. Here she is in her own words. Sydney, thank you so much for making time in your busy, hectic life. My gosh, you're juggling 3 young ones. I can't even, how do you put one shoe on? Like,
a lot of help. A lot of help.
You must be like
Takes a
so
village.
grateful. Yeah, it takes a village,
Yeah.
right? Like for these
It's a
people
lot of people.
that treat your kids like you, like yours, right? It's not just about people, it's about people who care and are willing to really do it the way you want them to do it. Like,
It's a community. I say it's
yeah,
a community.
it's a community. It's a blessing because it's like, I don't know where I would be without, like, I have to go shower, I have to go grocery shower. Like I need to know like the person's there is like not suddenly going to be like handing over sugar or like handing over, just not watching, right? Suddenly they fall off
Handing
the
over
table.
sugar. Yeah, handing over sugar is definitely something you don't want your people doing, because then that gets, or an iPad.
Are you a strict mom? Are you not so much? Where do you land?
I'm not that strict. I'm kind of strict. I'm the worst with boundaries. My nannies have better boundaries than I do.
Did you grow up strict or not so much?
I think kind of strict, yeah, but not like crazy strict, but kind of.
Yeah, I don't remember having like all these rules now that I have put on my daughter. Like it's like I'm like, okay, bedtime, right? Snack time. Like I didn't have these
Oh yeah, we're
rules.
pretty strict about that. Like the one thing I am strict on is it's not like you're staying up till 11 o'clock and watch. It's like the same bedtime, the same dinner time, unless there's sports. That's never changed for me.
Good.
And I think that's important for kids to have predictability. I don't think you can be loosey goosey with that. I have a lot of friends they are, and it works great for them. It probably wouldn't work for me. I think that was the one good thing I learned early on was that you have to have consistency and do the same routine over and over again with children.
Did you have someone before you had your first child? Did you have someone sort of showing you the ropes or giving you tips like that?
Well, I had my sister, so she'd already had a child that I had like I got involved and I'm sure you did too in baby groups. And you just like learn from other people kind of what works. And then there's like a teacher like a Donna Hollerman or this woman named Jackie, and you'd go to her class every week in the valley and they do all this stuff. And that's how I kind of like learned everything.
So you started taking classes before your child was born.
No, when my child was born, I didn't read one freaking book. I didn't care. I was like, I'm just going to go for it. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I'm not going to read these baby books because I'm not going to like sit there and do what they say anyway. So I might as well just, you know what I mean? I was like just winging it. I was older. I was 42.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about my nesting. You and I share a similar path in that our family came via surrogate mothers. And I think maybe if anybody can understand, you would understand how that feeling of when you're waiting for your child, this nesting period looks different for us than it does should we have been
Very,
carrying.
very. I didn't even do a baby shower, but I'm superstitious. I don't believe in doing anything till a baby's born. So I didn't get to do any of the traditional things that people do except buy cute clothes and furniture. I didn't do anything normal with these three kids I had.
Yeah. Maybe we should start at the beginning. I'm fast forward. I'm jumping ahead with with that teaser, but maybe we can start at the beginning, Sydney. If you're wherever you're comfortable with starting, like when you decided that you were ready to have your family, maybe.
I mean, I knew all along I was going to have kids. It just was a matter of when, and it was a matter of where I was in my life. So at like 39, I was like, well, I do want to have children, and I wasn't legally married to anybody at this time, and I didn't have. I was in a relationship though, actually, with someone who was much older than me, and that person encouraged me to have a child. And normally, I probably would have adopted, but I really wanted to have my children look like me, and I decided to go the surrogacy journey.
Did you know anyone that had gone through the circuit? You did.
Yeah, actually, a very, very close friend of mine had done it, and that's why I learned about it. And
Oh,
it was unusual,
amazing.
but she had had a lot of fertility issues too, like I did.
And what year was that then?
Well, that's like 13 years ago. So, whatever, 13 years ago, a
Got it.
long time
Right,
ago.
right, right. So yeah, because we were just talking with my surrogate, and she was talking about like 10 years ago, like not a lot of people like knew about. So 13 years ago, yeah. I mean, you were
It actually was happening 13 years ago. It just wasn't like every celebrity wasn't doing it or they weren't talking about it. It got popular because famous people started doing it and talking about it and recognizing it. But I think it's been going on for a while, maybe 15 years ago. But people, it wasn't done as much.
right. We I remember running into you at California Fertility Partners. We shared the same clinic there, those amazing doctors.
Amazing.
Was it right? Was it them who
But
sort of
that was the
pointed?
second time. That was the second surrogacy. The first surrogacy for
Oh,
me was in San Diego. That was when my twins were being born. The first surrogacy was at Loy IVF, and I'm really close to that doctor too, Dr. David Spotridge, and he's how I had my daughter. So I had my first daughter and my one daughter in San Diego via surrogate, and then I had my sons via surrogate in LA, and I used Dr. Kelly Beck for that.
There's our
Two, di-
doctor.
two different people, both incredible gems of humans who I still communicate with to today.
Are you still in touch with the surrogate mothers?
One of them I am, the other one I'm not, because it was kind of a traumatic birth. My daughter was born at 33, 3 weeks. Her heart valve was closing up in utero, and after that, I was just like, it was too traumatic for me to stay in touch with her.
Oh
So,
my God.
and my daughter was in the NICU for 6 weeks after that. So no, shoot, I didn't. But the other one, I still talk to all the time, like once a year. Not all the time, once a year.
Can you share a little bit about your daughter and what happened there?
Well, yeah, I mean, my daughter, what happened is her heart valve was closing in utero, and because I had a really good OBGYN parentologist, which anybody over the age of 35, 40 now probably has to go see, they caught this on a scan and said something's not right, and something not being right, sending him to another parentologist that day, and she went in for an emergency C-section hours later. So it was not a fun situation for me.
I imagine every candle, every prayer going up all the time. I mean, that's so scary.
And sometimes you can't predict what happens in birth. So, and my twins were fine. We went into the hospital, they did the C-section, and there was no problem. This was not a normal situation.
I feel like, that is like a sort of a false thing that people think, oh, if you have a surrogate, you're going to be fine. There's going to be no complications. Like, it's like there's your designer baby or whatever you want to call it. And that is so not the case. It's a whole universe of women that they want to do this. Yes, they want to give you a baby, but then there's also the women who want to do this for purely the financial.
For a business, yes. And it's like anything in life, but we'll stay on topic, but it's like anything in life.
This is like such a delicate industry, right? This is people's it's such a heartstring.
It is
business, right?
And so is adoption, so is all of it. I feel like there's anything in any business, but this is very particular. You have to really vet the people out that you go to and know people. I knew people that knew this agency I went to. I knew my lawyer knew them very well. I went to people that I knew had experienced these people before. And I went to a second-time surrogate both times.
Did you feel back then when your first journey with the surrogate, how did you feel your friends and social network reacted to that first journey?
I didn't tell people. I was very private about it, and I told people very, very far down the line. Because one, I didn't know what was going to happen. And two, people were didn't understand it. So my family was extremely supportive, obviously, and so were my friends, but I told people much later.
How did you feel?
I think it was different because I was, remember, 42, and that's considered old to have a kid anyways. Not in LA, but everywhere else in the country. And I don't know. I mean, I think once the baby came, it didn't matter. But I think during the time, it was a little different, for sure. There was nothing normal about it was like, I just showed up with the baby one day and people were like, oh, you have a baby. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have a baby.
And then the slew of questions came.
lot of questions.
I remember feeling a little bit like, the questions were a little like, I felt like stop with the question, you know what I mean? Like a little bombarded by the questions.
Yeah, it's also like super intrusive, but people, are curious. They look at you, you're thin. They're like,
they
you're
look you up
working out.
And down.
You're working out like every day up until then. They're like, wait a minute. So, and the same thing with my twins. I just had the twins and didn't tell anybody. I was like, oh, here I have twins. I told my close friends, and that was it. I didn't post about it. I didn't say, oh, so excited my two babies are nothing. One day I showed a picture of me and my kids. They were like, what?
Did you feel a little bit like because maybe things hadn't gone the way you'd wanted them in your past pregnancies and in your journey to become a mom, that even though you had a surrogate, did you still feel like maybe things wouldn't work out?
I mean, I'm always, unfortunately, I try to be very positive, but when it comes to things like this, I feel like less is more. And for me, because of my age probably and everything, I was like, I'm not going to say anything till everything's said and done. But that's just me being a little superstitious, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You sound like you have super thick skin, though, that even though it was like a crazy comment, you were just like, "Boop." Let fly off.
I mean, I don't think I take it too sensitively. I mean, I think when people ask me a lot of other questions, like they get into like the other, who's the fault, that kind of stuff. I mean, I just shut people down. So,
Right, right. It's just like, first of all, like, what am I, a telenovela that you want to catch up on here? No, I'm not. This is my life. So,
yeah. And
being,
by the way, I think it's also really good that people are having babies on their own. I think it's
yeah,
empowering. I think I can name 5 of my friends that did this. They had big careers. They decided to do this journey. I'm really grateful I got to help them on the journey. I got to give them all my resources, and they have beautiful children. And that's a wonderful thing to be able to have, whether you end up doing things like either you're married, you have a kid with someone and you had to do this, or you did it by yourself, or you did it with a partner, or you know what I mean? I think it's a beautiful way no matter how you get your child.
that's right. Families come in all walks of life. Like it's a family, it's a family. But like because this is still like, yes, it's been around, but still people ask the craziest things. Like I remember when I was waiting for Elise, somebody asked me, like, so how are you gonna feed her? Like, how are you gonna feed
And now you're like,
like
don't worry, I got it. I got it. I use formula. I just went straight to formula. I didn't try anything else. I
yeah.
was like, this is just going to be too much for me. Just let's go straight to formula.
I mean, I was getting these questions in 2020. Like, I feel like people need to have, I don't want to say like be woke about it, but a little, definitely more awareness on how they talk to single parents, right? People, just any kind of family that's not traditional, anyone who did go use a surrogate, like know that the questions you're coming to, they may land a bit heavy on this person, right? Like just because you want to know, like just see your words come through, right? How are they going to land on this individual who's made this brave
Exactly.
move?
It is brave.
It is. It's just it's a thing where people need to be sensitive. You can't just be like, wow, why can't you adopt? Why can't you have a family? Like it can land harsh.
I know, but don't you think because you live in LA, at least, I think people are a little bit more sympathetic towards you, towards LA. I think like where I live now in San Diego, people don't, it's not as prevalent. So I'll be at like a school, there'll be like 2 dads, so they'll get it because they have their kids via surrogate. They're 2K guy, you know what I mean? But a single heterosexual female having kids on her, and people are like, wait, what? I mean, it's very different unless you're in LA and then like all these career women and women with careers, I call them, have had kids on their own or celebrities even. You've got like Charlize Theron. You've got a lot of people that have kids on their own.
Kind of if you don't have if you're not secure in what you've done, where your choices, then yeah, it can make your life just a little bit harder.
I agree.
I also remember like looking for a mommy and me group, right? And it was like, oh, this one is like, it sounds like you have to breastfeed to join that one. Or, oh, that one sounds like it's for young moms and I'm in my 40s. So I like not really quite finding the group where I fit, you know?
Yeah, I got lucky in LA. I did find that group, and I found that women were, you know, one of my first mom friends, they were in their 40s. So I was, fine, luckily.
You did get lucky.
And then I was friends with people that were younger than me. They were in their 30s and I was in my 40s, but they were like so nice to me, and I'm still friends with them. And they were great. They got a kick out of me anyways, because I was like older, and even though I didn't look older, but I was still older than them. They loved it. They thought it was great.
That's awesome. I'm still part of this like WhatsApp group with this mommy and me group, and yeah, they're all in their 30s and 20s. I'm definitely the eldest in the group, and I remember one time they were like, "Oh, everyone send your wedding photo." Everyone said,
You're like,
and they all start sending the wedding photos, and I was like the wah wah.
yeah. Well, you had one, just not with that baby. It's like I had one too, just not with the babies I'm with. You know?
Yeah, or they'd be like, "Oh, we were discussing like a baby carrier, right?" And so they all send, everyone send your picture with your bundle and the baby carrier. Um, and here I am, right? No stomach, sending my. I was just very conscious of how different I was from all the other moms in the group. I didn't have the support group of, oh, there's other women in their 40s, or there's somebody else who had a baby via surrogate or adoption, or you know what I mean. I didn't have that, so I've always felt a little like I should have been calling you, Sydney.
I was gonna say, I can't believe you didn't call me, because I would have helped you through it all. That's okay though. We're here now.
Yeah.
And you're gonna meet, and you're in LA. You're gonna meet so many people in school, and they're gonna be like, I had my baby this way. I guarantee you.
We're so blessed to live in California. I mean, thank God we don't live in like Louisiana or, these states where I think it's like Nebraska, Virginia,
Exactly.
Indiana.
Exactly. Where you can't even do surrogacy some places. New York just got legal a couple of years ago after Andy Cohen had his baby, and he legalized surrogacy. Can you imagine? He had to literally go to a different state to have a baby. That's People are coming from different countries to have children.
Remember our office with Dr.
Yeah, it's
Beck? Yeah.
international. International.
It was
Can't do
like,
surrogacy. Can't do IVF. Can't do any of that. So we're like blessed. I mean, I wouldn't have children if it wasn't for that.
yeah, if exactly. And so you're
Or
right.
I would have had to adopt. I wouldn't have been able to. So I would have had to adopt if I couldn't have done IVF. Those were my choices.
One thing I've in this process of being infertile and having gone through my journey and trying to grow my family, and now I'm like trying to buy eggs and going down this like
Oh, are you in
like
that are you in that route now where you're going to do it one more? You're thinking?
I've been thinking about this for the
I think
past
that's
2
great.
years.
It's nice to have a sibling. I will tell you that. It's nice for your child to have a sibling. And then so now you need a donor is what you're saying.
I need an egg
You're doing
donor.
Oh, I actually I can turn you on to someone who's good with that, to find somebody that you want. I know that's hard because you want someone perfect.
Well, I've gone through 3 different agencies, right? I'm still working with one, but it's one thing for you to pick an egg donor, and then it's another thing for your partner to pick the egg donor. It's not like I'm doing this by myself.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, yeah. That is exciting. That does make it a little trickier for you, for sure.
I don't feel in today's world here today like we have to explain why we had to use a surrogate. Like, I don't need to explain to you like how many times I had a miscarriage, or why exactly I'm infertile. Like, what, like it's none of your business. Like,
No,
if
it is. And I agree. It's none of your business. And I think what you tell people is you just don't say anything. My therapist always says, just don't respond. No response is the best response sometimes. And you can smile and keep going.
Right, no response. Right. I know, it's like this. Is that the customer service side of me that's always like, no,
Yes,
I
because
want
you came from the restaurant world where you had to smile and be happy. You couldn't be working for that restaurant tycoon, not. And I get that, where you feel like you need, and I do too. I feel like, but wait, like I want to tell people my journey, but it's like, but no, I don't really need to. You're a stranger.
right. I
Like I may
feel
never,
like
I may never see you again, by the way, either. I've had my daughter for 11 years. I've had 11 years of practice. It's a little bit further along than you, not much. And then I have 2 other boys. And luckily, most people I find now are pretty appropriate and don't say dumb things. But I remember I was like sweating it. I was like, oh my God, I'm starting a new private school. I moved here. Like, what if people ask me a bunch of questions? And people really don't ask a lot of questions. I was shocked. They're too concerned with themselves to worry about me, which is great.
Yeah. And I think part of it with what I'm learning in therapy is a lot of it is me. It's what's in my head, like my expectations of what it's supposed to feel like or look like,
Or
not,
maybe you feel embarrassed. And I think it's okay. I think for a long time, I was like, I feel different than people because I didn't have this journey of where I woke up one day and I married someone. I was like, oh my God, we're having a baby together. I didn't end up having a baby with the person that I married or the people I'd been in relationships with. Those were not possible. By the time, I decided to have a child, I had already had miscarriages. I already found out I had a rare blood clotting disease. I had lots of fertility issues. So my journey was never going to be normal, no matter how I sliced it, whether I was 25 or 42, I realized, or, when I started 40. So I think like this illusion that we grow up and we see this like idyllic, which I'm sure you had. I mean, I see your family on Instagram. They look totally idyllic. Like my family was pretty normal too. It's like sometimes it just doesn't happen in our generation. Like everything's just different.
yeah,
Thankfully.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like people look at the picture of my family and they're like, "Oh, that looks like an idyllic family," but it's just like it's funny. Like that's my boyfriend and that's my daughter that I made with donor sperm, right? And it's
And
interesting
and
because
and I think that's cool though that you don't even have to. I mean, and by the way, it's like nobody's business. She does kind of look like him, so you really don't have to even say anything.
it is such a coincidence that she looks like him. Justin is Jewish and she's Jewish, and there you
Yeah,
go. And it's
she looks like him a little bit. I mean, my kids look at nothing like me, and I'm engaged to someone else, and it's not his kid. So it's like it's just all like it just is what it is. Like you just have to like roll with it with people. It's like called a modern family.
I think having my daughter in COVID, it was a seesaw of I can do this, I'm scared, I can do this is scary, just sort of like balancing it all out was tough for the first few years.
Which makes sense
How did you find the courage that one being so hard to launch into the second journey?
because there was a famous celebrity called Elton John and his husband David Furnish, and I remember them saying on an interview once that they had one more child because of their age, and they wanted them always to have a sibling and them never to be by themselves. And I was like, I'm 42. Like, I never want that to happen. I have two siblings. Like, I never want my kids to feel alone if something happens to me. I don't have a husband. I don't have a father. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? And that's why I did it 2 years later. I was like, I have to do this.
Yeah, I think about that. If I'm not able to pull the trigger on my second sibling, like what's my daughter's, what's she gonna do, right? Does she have cousins? Does she have, a bestie? Like what does that look like? Do I like attach myself to another family that has kids her age, sort of like a modern adoption, if you will, like someone else that already has another single mom or another single dad, right? Like let's just say we're going to do holidays together. Let's say we're going to go on
Yeah.
vacation, spring breaks together, you
Yeah.
know.
And you could totally do that and you'd be fine.
No, you know what, Sydney, you're giving me the courage that less is more, that I don't have to explain, that I don't need to, just because I'm feeling untraditional in my mind and my thoughts and my experiences. I don't have to wear it on my sleeve, you know? I don't
Well,
have
it's
to
kind of
like,
like if you've been married or divorced or broken up with someone, which I know you've been through and I've been through. Did you have to tell everybody why you broke up with that person? I'm sure people asked you. You're with that person for a long time.
people
You can give
ask
a
all the time.
generic answer. He's a really amazing person. It just had its course and we still care about each other very much and that's it. It's like when a celebrity gives a statement of their divorce. It's short and sweet and to the point.
Yeah, I never told anybody like the real
That's
reason.
really
Like it's
yeah,
nobody's
because it's
business.
nobody's business. Yeah, it's nobody's business.
Yeah, I hear you. Just across the board.
Yeah, across the board.
I feel like it's important for us to talk about it more and more and not, you hear so much about
Exactly.
the surrogates, but not so much from intended parents, right?
Exactly. And I think it's
And
important just to tell people because there's so many people struggling with infertility right now. So if I can help, that's even better, you know?
yeah, I almost see like the word infertility, the being infertile, it's nothing to be ashamed about, right? Maybe at one
Mm-mm.
point I did feel shame about it, but at this point it's like it's something I'm using. I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to move past it. I was able to embrace it, okay, mourn it, but also, okay, let's move forward. The goal is if I want to have a family, then let's have that family, right? Like
Exactly.
not let it
Exactly.
hold you back.
Exactly. And I'm gonna encourage you to, like, meet some nice people at school. I'm hoping that you go to a really nice, sweet school and you meet some nice people, you know? I was
Yeah.
always like, women didn't like me because I didn't have a boyfriend. Like, they were like, "No one's coming around." Like, I was, like, never getting invited to things because I wasn't in a relationship.
Yeah,
That's
I'd
what
be
was
like,
happening to me.
the
They'd be like,
hot
"Oh,"
mom, stay away from my
they're
husband, stay
like
away from the hot mom.
they're like by the way, I'm, like, older than all of them, so it's ridiculous. But that was happening to me, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like this," but now it's, like, fine. So, I don't have these issues anymore.
Build your community, make the connections.
Exactly, that's all you have to do,
Yeah.
and the rest
Thank
will fall into
you.
place. The
The
rest
rest
the
will
rest
fall
will
into
fall.
place. You're right.
Yeah, and you're gonna meet people through your kids' friends, you just will. You have, like, a long, long life of her friendships. You're just beginning.
I'm learning from you, Sydney, is that you're comfortable in your skin no matter where you are, right?
Well, trying to be, yes, for sure. Finding, like, people like, listen, I have tons of friends, and guess what? All their kids are, like, in their 20s. You know what I mean? So some of my closest friends don't have kids my age. It's just the way it is. But they give great parenting advice, so I love that.
Yeah. And my friends who didn't have children in their life at this point, who are in their 40s and 50s, I feel like those are some of my closest friends right now.
Exactly.
They understand my frustration in having patience for a toddler in my late 40s. It does not come easy.
No, no, it's hard. It's definitely a lot of it's hard.
It's a lot of like, am I teaching myself? Am I teaching her? Like it's
Well, I think we're teaching each other. I think some of the best lessons you're gonna learn are from your daughter.
yeah, Elise says to me, take a deep breath, mama. Take a deep breath. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I'm sure they're telling me that too. Like, I'm telling my kids to meditate all the time, and they're like, my daughter's like, I'm not meditating or deep breathing because you tell me to. I'm like, okay.
you tell her to meditate. That's
I'm like, breathe, like take some breaths. She's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay. Yeah, you should read Dr. Shivali's book about conscious parenting. I think that's a really good book to read. The
Dr.
whole conscious
Shivali.
Shivali, they got the whole conscious parenting movement, which is what we're doing, not to be helicopter parents, which we were probably helicoptered growing up.
Yeah, it's
I mean, you're
I'll
from a
tell you,
Mexican Catholic. You're a Mexican Catholic background. There's no way you were raised in a strict household. If I had to guess.
it's upsetting to hear these patterns that I didn't want repeated that are unhealthy, And so yeah, it is a lot of work on myself constantly to be like, don't do that. It's not
I
healthy.
know, I know, but you're gonna get through it. You're gonna get through it one day at a time. You're gonna get through all this stuff. And you're a great mom. You're very dedicated to your daughter, and I think it's great that you're going to spread awareness through your podcast and through other ways. You're really being of service on a high level to help people to do this, which is, confusing and hard and, emotional to do this kind of journey to have a child. Oh, and expensive. It's the other thing, very expensive.
But thank you, Sydney, for taking the time to be with us
Thank you,
today. And
Leslie. I'm looking forward to hearing this and hearing all about your adventures in life with your daughter. I'm excited for you.
how fearless is Sydney? She is so inspiring with her mantra of be comfortable in the skin you were born in. Own it. Stay true to you, no matter who or what tries to rattle you. This is your life. I put the link to the book she references, The Conscious Parent, Transforming Ourselves, Empowering Our Children. I'm currently hooked on it. I also respect her view on your business is yours and yours only, and no one else's. It is not a negative to not want to divulge all your nitty-gritty details just because somebody asks you. If you're not feeling it, don't go there. Keeping a certain level of a clear wall up in order to have self-preservation, peace of mind, it's not a bad thing. It's always good to hear from someone that went through something similar to you before you did. I'm grateful Sydney made the time for this chat. She instantly made me see how I can get caught up in what other people are saying. And instead, I just need to live my best life right here, right now. If what you want for yourself is to become a parent and your body is telling you no, you are not alone. I had to overcome self-shaming of not being able to physically carry a child. And now in my 40s, not having any more eggs to give has been a whole new hurdle for me. My hope is that younger generations can pay attention to their body's reproductive side early on before the options get limited. Our country is one of the global leaders of this groundbreaking technology. However, its price tag is going up considerably with each passing year. Today, even more, even as of the last couple of days of this tariffs turmoil, it is fact. Well, turmoil, just have a seat over there for now. Both the one in my heart and the one on tariffs. That wraps us up for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Alan and Melissa at Pretty Easy Podcast for co-producing this episode with me. Please check out more of these and similar stories on Instagram and TikTok at mothersinarms.pod. If you have 15 seconds to like and rate this episode wherever platform you are listening on right now, I would so appreciate it. Again, thank you for listening.